smarts, their skin tones match. Jesus, I don't even have an intro for this. Welcome back to Dying of Exposure. Jordon, it was not that long ago that we were just talking about Worlds Beyond Number, and we're back again.
We're back. It's been 2 weeks, and they've released two of my favorite things that have ever existed. The greatest single episode of a podcast ever, and one of the maybe the best wizard subclass that's ever existed.
I haven't even gotten a chance to look at the wizard subclass this week.
You got 40 secrets to choose from. It's wild.
Shit. I love that shit.
Yeah,
that's that Brennan. I played in 3.5 influence.
And you only get to this. We're already off topic. You only get to use the number of between short rests proficiency bonus. So even though you could have, I think at level 20 you would have 20 secrets. Yeah. You still can only use 6 of them in a fight. So it feels not overpowered, but does that flavor feel good? Of I can do. I can change the length, the length of the spell. I can use my magical secret to understand that. And there's a bunch of other really dope stuff. You can cast secret spells inside another spell. So if you cast Fireball, you could be all right, the guys in the Fireball ring, they all can roll with advantage to save, and then if any one of them succeeds, you can choose for them to take no damage and then cast a second spell on that person. And be I cast Fireball. Oh, they succeeded. I also cast Banishment on them. What a brilliant, oops, second spell. It's so good.
God damn. Well, we're not here to talk about that.
Yes.
Weirdly enough. We're here to talk about Jordon. How Erika Ishii is going to ruin the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima by being so woke. No, we're not talking about that either.
Every one of those headlines makes me want to play the game more.
I know, right? It's like
Erika Ishii supports transgender people. I'm okay.
Erika Ishii is woke and supports ACAB and blocks people who are mean to queer people online. I'm that's what they should do.
Yeah. Okay, great. Fine. I'll buy the game.
I didn't even buy the first one. Jesus.
Now I have to find out what the first one's about.
Truly. No, obviously we're here to talk about Interlude 2, The Clearing, a one-off episode that you can listen to a good portion of on the Worlds Beyond Number public feed, but not all of.
Yeah.
But
let me just warn you: if you start the public feed, you will be paying $5 at the end of it to find out how it ends.
But what a valuable $5! Because, god damn it, Jordon. So we couldn't even stop ourselves in the couple minutes when I was setting this up from immediately talking about how good this goddamn episode is. Jordon. Let's talk about. We're just going to jump into it. Spoilers for the episode. This is a spoilers conversation, which is always good because that means that in my limited YouTube, only the Patreon users that happen to. I'm trying to narrow down the people that would possibly watch this video to the tightest amount of people, but the best amount of people. It's quality over quantity.
Exactly. That's Jordon, what you want in views. Quality views.
I mean, engagement. But let's not talk about the algorithm. Jordon, how do you feel like this compares to Interlude 1, which was a very different tone than this?
Very different tone. It's funny. I had talked to I done my Worlds Beyond Number interview, and I talked to Taylor as well before this came out, and I'm so mad about it. But we had talked about how the vibes of 12 Brooks versus the vibes of The Clearing are very different. And, oh boy, they were not underselling that.
No, they were not.
It's... I love that Umora as a world feels so... it feels like Middle Earth-esque of, there's so much depth to it of, hey, here's this, 12 Brooks is this fun little community where they're putting frog heads on kids who are trying to be in a play or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's delightful and wonderful. And then also, hey, here's the most horrifying nightmare thing that's ever happened. And the people you think you should be rooting for are such the bad guys, and so clearly the bad guys right out of the gate.
Really gonna affect my Citadel was right.
Yeah.
Video.
I just it feels special. Like the whole podcast always feels special, but this feels special of like, hey, look at all these stories that we can tell in this world.
Well, it's the kind of thing, and I wanted to talk a little bit about this, but it's the kind of thing that like happens when you at your table, because I mean we're both gonna steal this shit, right? Like we're both gonna be like, okay, what's the destruction point of the world? Oh, someone can't make it, let's do a one shot. Like what's a scary thing? But it's the kind of thing, and like for those that have watched Critical Role's Downfall and Critical Role's other thing Calamity. For those that have watched those two, they've also seen this in a bit longer form. But it's the kind of thing where it's like when you divert from your main campaign and you do this kind of otherworld stuff, you have so much more room to get heavier instantly. And because these are not the player character, like they're being played by the players, but they're not like the main characters that they're putting like a ton of time and effort in. But because Brennan already set it up with 12 Brooks and now this, it means that this is always like an important quiet reveal of like something that matters in the world, so the players are fully interested, and so that and made the audience interested, which means that I was gripping my chair when it got to like Act 3 of this, and I'm like, what is happening? And then so like that's what can open up something like D&D, which is normally not great at horror, not like super good at horror. It can do dread, but like straight up scary shit is hard to do in D&D because there's all these abilities. It's not about being underpowered, and your characters likely die if you're too low of a level for things, and instead it makes it thrilling and terrifying and scary with tone setting.
I just, oh boy, like very clearly Brennan went to them and was like, hey, we're gonna play a doomed campaign or doomed one shot, like pick whatever characters you want. They're not making it through this. So
of course Aabria picked a dog
to really lean into Brennan's I'm gonna kill that dog, and he did. Ooh, did he ever?
He killed that dog so fast. That dog fucking instantly died when it tried to do something.
So wild to just be like, and you're dead. Be like, wait, what? What do you mean? What do you mean, and you're dead?
And you're dead. You're just dead. You tried to bite a ghost, and you failed your con save, so you're dead.
So you're dead.
Speaking of Erika, Ruiner of Ghosts sequel, you can't even get through it. It's so cool. I'm so excited for Erika to be a main character voice in Dragon Age Veilguard, and then a main character voice mocap and image. It's like it's a real, and there's another game. There's just like there's many games that Erika's been in that they've been like a heavy lead character in recently. So that's popping off. But Puffs is an amazing character.
So good.
Puffs
was the only one that broke my heart. Because Puffs clearly didn't understand like they were doing bad.
Puffs is like, I'm just helping.
We're helping the witch. What do you mean?
I think what's amazing about it is that there is something, and I'd be curious if Erika talked about this or thought about this very deliberately, is that Puffs was very much on the side of Corilla and Aidan and Bevin, and that all happening, that made sense because, of course, there's a witch that wants them to do it. But also it's interesting that a pollution spirit, which is an inherently civilized humanity thing, arguably, can't help but be on the side of the thing that creates it, right? Like, it cannot, as opposed to, say, like, the mist, obviously, spirits who are just on part of nature. It's like, it's almost like a commentary that, like, this is made by this system, so it is on this system side. It does not know how to not be on this system side because it does not exist without it, right? Kind of thing.
They wouldn't do that. Commentary in
yeah, right.
In Worlds Beyond Number? No.
Yeah. So I mean, it could be just like full blast. I don't think it necessarily is this deep, but this is me interpreting why the curtains are blue on purpose. But to some degree, but why they're that shade of blue, maybe. Is it could be a commentary. It's like, yeah, let me play this really fun, silly, heartwarming kind of smog, like a smog spirit and everything like that. And yeah, it's made by this, and it has to be on this side. You know, like another character that's not played by me in the main campaign that's made by something and has to be on its side, and everything. So it might have been a direct, like, this is this, like, silly down for almost like a children's fairy tale turned nightmare. I don't know. How do you feel? Lou Wilson is not usually that good, as we know. How'd you feel about Aidan Crutcher? Aidan Crutcher, Demon Slayer, I believe.
You joke about Lou Wilson not being that good, but it is something that we haven't ever seen from Lou before, and that was just like that unstoppable hubris arrogance of a bad demon hunter was. I mean, he played it so perfectly of just like, do you leave the head behind? No, I drag the head with my broken feet.
This is my price. Yeah. Trench foot all day long.
Oh god. The hugest shout out to Brian Flaherty of Many Sided Media, who put in the wet slapping sounds of this episode, because oh boy, were they wet and slappy.
They were so wet and so slappy, but like it really led to that sort of like, oh, this is a real fucking problem. At every point in this, they had the time. It's like nature's like, hey, you're not for here. Please leave. And it's like, no, hubris. And then it's like, hey, it got worse. Please leave. Now, oh, hey, the thing that you're hunting that's valuable, it also is gonna be chill if you just bounce. It does not care that you want it dead. It just is like, hey, you need to go. And everything. This is a like, bad place for you.
I'm gonna break those mushrooms. I'm gonna ruin this.
Ruin this thing. And then it's like, all right, well, we'll fight. And then it's like, okay, well, I guess this is it. It never. And then, okay, spoilers for the end. For those that maybe have listened to the main and haven't had time to give them $5 to give to listen to this. Spoilers for the end of it. I love that the lesson of this was about the journey, and then the surprise of this was just the very, very tail fucking end of it, and like why we were even there. Like why were we the audience? Why were they the players even in that space, in that moment, in that time? And it had almost nothing to do, arguably nothing as far as we know, to do with what we watched. Like, it did in a kind of themesy way.
The spirit may have been protecting the wood, and once the spirit was gone, are the wizards of the Citadel, who've never done anything wrong, came in chanting and cheering to, I believe the song in Latin was "Behold the Sins of Magic." I think I saw someone say that somewhere. It's like, oh no, it couldn't be more explicit.
It's bad. It's bad. It's real bad. It's real bad, and it's also real normal. And I think that's what's great. Like, they do it. They have dressed up, demolishing a city park for a parking lot so aggressively in it to make the Citadel. But like, that's all that it is. It's literally like, hey, you know, all this beautiful grass and nature and everything was tall, and there was like biomes on biomes and biomes. What if a mall instead?
What if the best mall?
It's such a good fucking mall. It's so good. And the people that go to that mall will be like, this mall is amazing.
Yeah, this mall has the best chowder.
It has 2 Orange Juliuses, my guy. 2. So like, what I loved about that is like, instead of it being like this horror turn, it was just this like sad story about hubris, story about like the world is dangerous and humanity isn't there, and it also like lets me know that it's in a prequel. Like everything about it gets revealed in that moment.
Yeah.
In such a surprise way that would be out of nowhere outside of a series. But in this, it's like, oh, what a gift. What a gift you gave us.
Speaking of gifts, I will say that as I listened to the episode, I thought it was fully The Giver, like the book turned movie series, in that he was just dead at the end, and he was like envisioning what his future as his corpse was going to be. I have been since convinced that it is that he is like his literal death is the moment the wizards are like, and go, and desert. I have been convinced of it otherwise, but if you haven't read The Giver, spoilers for The Giver, the kid finds a sled at the top of a hill at the end of it, and then they went on to make sequels to the books like he wasn't dead. No child has ever left a sled at the top of a hill. You slide down it. That's all the work. I
think it's the period on the sentence of the machinations of man and nature are both destroyed by wizards. And to me, the what's it called? The glass desert. What do they call it now?
The Aurelian Desert.
Aurelian Desert. Aurelian. That's the word I was looking for. The Aurelian Desert is so interesting in beyond how monstrous it was. Which they alluded to when they got to, like, they've always alluded, like, this didn't always used to be like this, but, like, going in and showing something very upsetting to the audience, right, to the players, but also rich and vibrant in its upsettingness and being like, no, that's just gone now. All of that is gone. Every bit of it. It wasn't just Aidan Crutcher that like, affected it negative. One bad man can do some damage to a region, and like that region will recover to whatever it is. But yeah, like the whole thing, like what I'm interested in is the fact that, like, what it means is I have perceived, and I joke about the Citadel was right. I still might do the video, but what I have perceived is that wizards are sort of a thing like the Citadel is sort of an inherent like combination of something that's bad with something that's actually incredibly normal, which is when there are predators and systems in nature that can devastate a group of people, they will work together to protect themselves from it, to be able to fight it, and everything. And spirits and other magic users and like big predators, like that's why we build, walls and stuff like that, is to do that. That's normal. That's fine on its own, right? When it's left into its own devices of like, yeah, protect yourself and then kind of respect your neighborhood and know what's up, and everything. But like it reshifted the focus where I'm like, oh, when working together, the Citadel is as dangerous as any great spirit. It's as threatening. It is not a thing where it's a bunch of humans doing harrowing acts to get themselves to a position where they could possibly defend themselves. It is, we would like to be we would also like nuclear weapons, please. And now we have them. And we are
them, in fact.
Yeah, we are the nuclear weapon. And like that really reframed, that really like locked in that, no, the Citadel is not the underdog here. The Citadel is another danger player and does not respect the damage it can do by being that. It's not trying to control the danger of spirits. If it murdered probably hundreds of thousands of them in that one move, just so it could have a fun glass tower. Like a dope place, a super powerful base, very awesome. Probably also some sort of connection to drawing up more magic and stuff. I'm sure we'll find out more about why it had to be that. But like,
you're as a world builder, I'm assuming that you have made a magic desert at some point. Who hasn't, right? And you like for me, the first magic desert that I made was like a red dragon had been killed, and it was so powerful when it exploded, it turned this forest into like a desert that like permanently stayed a desert. And that is sort of like, because I had done that was what I had been thinking in my head, was like the Citadel was at war, something happened, and like they didn't mean to make the desert, but the desert happened when all this magic stuff blew up, and then they made their tower here. And like, because I know, like, Steele tells us, like, we made this, but I was like, it's probably like not like a horror, like a horror nightmare. And then we got to the end of this, and I was like, it's real, but it's way worse than I could have expected.
This was a rainforest, and now it's a desert.
And they were cheering for it, cheering as they wiped it from the earth. Yeah,
it's Brazil and corporate interests.
Yes.
Yeah, it really sets a different tone. Yeah, I think I recall my first magical desert being a wizard felt like affronted or fully disrespected and locked out, so he just dried up the most massive lake bed by a town and all the rivers and tributary, like the entire water system from the top peak of the mountain nearest to it to that, so that they just had no water and just made a whole ass desert as like a bitter thing. So for me, this is actually not but like at least there was like a reason. Like, it was a bad reason, but there was a reason where it's like, how dare you not allow me to rule you as your magical king? Kind of very simple motivations, and I was like, this is a bad man and he needs to be killed. Kind of thing. And in this, it's like, oh no. And I think it was sort of a good setup to be like, the first wizards you meet are of course Suvi and all the Steel and like wizards of the Citadel and stuff like that, and you meet like all these individual different characters that you like or you don't like and everything like that, and you're like, Citadel imperialism, it's kind of in there, it's baked in, and everything, but like the people seem fine, maybe this is complicated. And then we meet Tefmet, Tefmet, and the non-Citadel wizards, who it's like we almost forgot that a standard wizard is just like a bumbling person in a library that's like, oh, I don't know how to control it. I'm just curious, right? Like they're a teacher, they're a professor, they're a librarian, right? They're a nerd. And so we forgot that they're nerds, not an imperial structure. So they're like, oh, maybe there are just like chill, fun wizards that are just like Gandalf-y kind of things minus the destiny kind of energies. And then it's like, okay, so the reason that these wizards that you just kind of met a representative of aren't down with how the Citadel works is because they don't care about anything else other than being a powerful group of wizards. They are all the same. We just showed you how that's a problem with the Coven for some of the Coven witches. Now let's show you, like, let's confirm wizards also bad, because we're gonna kill a lot of them. I assume I assume
Probably.
There's gonna be a lot of violence in Arc 4.
Yeah, it's such good world building. Surprise, that Brennan Lee Mulligan has done. Of where like, all right, witches are bad, wizards are bad, great spirits still mostly good, but probably some bad ones mixed in there. They've said the word demon, and usually that doesn't mean good.
We met ones that we'd like to kill. Yes. Certainly in the great spirit things. The guy that likes to trap all the other spirits in the collection.
Not bad.
Of course, our man in black also deeply not good.
Yes,
so cool. Would sleep with him, but absolutely agree with the entire party. It's like, man, just a little nudge, and we'd be all on his side.
Yeah,
all of us. Such a cool villain, but yeah, it's a phenomenal one shot. It's the kind of thing that makes you grateful that they do it. So often in actual plays that I deeply love, when they diverge, it's always sort of like a bit of a roll of the die of it's like, yes, but I'm in love with your main story. Excellent actual plays make you fall in love with whatever they do. Partially for parasocialism reasons, partially because they're very good at doing this. This is as good as any of like the last 4 episodes of WitchCon. Right, like this. Even though I'm never gonna see Aidan again, which is heartbreaking because Lewis, so good at playing him, was not ready for him to be that character.
Let's get a prequel to our prequel where we get to meet Aidan get his leather suit. I want to see that story.
Just this terrible place. Just amazing.
The indignity that Aidan felt at having to trek through that jungle is so good.
Lou is so good at playing characters who do not like their status affected, whatever they've built it. And Aidan is such an extreme example of that. Like, because like Kingston Brown, also not a huge fan of a bunch of nonsense and everything like that. He's like, no, this is how I work. This is how the world works. You know, like I'm going to affect it. Obviously, Fabian Seacaster, Fabian Seacaster, even his guest character in NADPOD for campaign 2,
Jabari the Safari.
Jabari the Safari kind of is like, this is how the thing is. So Luke gets such a good, like, this is what my character believes how the world works, and I fully play that. But like, oh my goodness,
yeah, Aidan, a whole new level.
Our Arc 4 begins next month. How we still satisfied? Oh, go on.
We still have another interlude to go. We've got Erika is DMing for just Lou and Aabria as part of a children's adventure Halloween that takes place in the summer that they're together. I mean, like, it's another like spooky whatever one shot. Obviously, I'm sure it will be less horror than
hopefully.
What we just got
with the children.
With the children. But I'm real excited about that one as well. But yeah, Arc 4, they're separated again, which is a beautiful thing of just like, no, we trust the story that we'll get back to it. But
I have never seen an actual play be so it's all the players, of course, great, but this is really where Brennan's like, listen, I can provide infinite, enthralling, and cool NPCs. That is my like. If Brennan has any highest strength stat, because he's deeply overpowered as a GM, but if he says no, I totally rolled 18s for all of my stats. But he's deeply overpowered. But if he has anything that's highest, it's him snapping an NPC that is immediately engaging and neat, like in whatever direction he wants.
My brain immediately went to, what's so weird about wanting your bones? A person that wasn't supposed to exist in Escape the Bloodkeep, but then Erika was like, my spider can travel there, and Brennan's like, great, I'll invent the most iconic character of the whole campaign on a whim.
He does it on accident constantly, right? And then the moment players engage with it, he's like, oh, I know how to make this even better all the time. And it's like, and so it's one of those things where it's like I generally still am like, no, you want your party together, you want them interacting. They're the most fleshed out characters that are ever going to be in the story, minus maybe your big bad, if you have one, kind of thing. And Brennan's like, yes, but also I could do one-on-one actual plays with each of these players, and it would be immensely satisfying. Like, I could literally just have 3 separate podcasts with 3 separate players, and I could just fill the world. So it's like one of those things where it's just phenomenal. So I have eminent trust that this is going to come together, and in the coming together, like in the separation and coming together, as it's been every time so far, it's going to be even more powerful and more momentous. And then we're all going to just bathe in the, finally there's an arc where they're together the whole time again, and kind of warmth, or one of them will die. One of the two. I do believe that they could just kill people in this. I'm sure that that's on the table for all of the players. But nonetheless, I'm going to let you back to your life, Jordon. I will probably bother you about Ms. Mag in like a month. We'll do like a middle of the thing. It's so good. We're not going to dive into it now.
The first episode was so good, but yeah, I can't wait for more.
We cannot start talking about it.
Aabria does not miss. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, Aabria does not miss. For those that haven't watched it yet, it should come up. It should be up by the time this video is up. It should be, the first episode of it should be up on YouTube for Ms. Mag's Misfits and Magic Season 2. And I'm so happy that they're back. It's so exciting that they're back, and it's so exciting that they're like, yeah, we did the Harry Potter nod. Yeah. This is different now. This is its own whole world. It's its own whole thing. We can still dip into that well and have fun kind of poking at it, but like, that's not what this is anymore. We did that bit in the first like 4 episodes and the holiday special. Let's move forward. But until next time, Jordon, Jesus Christ, like, I say that, and who knows, like, I might be like, So that Halloween special.
Next week, the Halloween special might come out, and we're just going to be recording us sobbing as we're like, it was too beautiful.
It was too beautiful. Erika needs to immediately also be GMing their own podcast.
Erika GM'd A County Affair, the single most fun and enjoyable two-shot, whatever you want to call it, that I have ever listened to.
I'm excited. I am so happy that I will be listening to Worlds Beyond Number for years and have this brilliant main campaign for as long as it goes, which might be many years based off the pace. And then and then
the real bummer of the Wizard of the Citadel subclass that dropped today is I'm like, some of this stuff happens at like level 6 and level 10. It's going to take them like 5 years to get to level 6. Like, I'm not going to get to see Aabria get to do this forever.
Forever. But that's why we'll do it in our own campaigns. I'm happy to announce that Jordon has agreed, unbeknownst to him, that he will be joining me for a game 2 days a week, Mondays and Tuesdays.
Perfect.
Child Services has taken his whole family, not just his child, but his spouse as well, from him because of this choice. And it was right for them. Now. Yep. But you're dedicated to online content, Jordon. That's right. The important thing. Nonetheless, you have a good day. Thank you for watching this. For the 3 people that have watched this to the very end on YouTube, thank you so much. Remember to hit like and subscribe for more actual play D&D content. And I don't know, maybe I'll start making content about Marvel. If you're not watching it all along, go watch it. It's a fun show about witches. Also, I guess that's the connective tissue, just light connective tissue. It's very good. I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
But nonetheless,
queer witches across the board.
Queer witches in every direction, ruining Ghost of Tsushima's sequel. Okay, thank you so much. You're